What is stigma? You're talking about anxiety, ADHD, Tourette's, depression, or military people coming back from war. All those factors make the word of stigma.
If you have a broken leg, I can look and see that your leg is broke, so I can fix it. I think the inability to what people consider fix certain things creates a stigma and an uncomfortableness that we have not been able to overcome when it comes to the field of mental health.
I think it's very difficult to convince someone that an eating disorder or any mental illness in that matter is in fact a mental condition and not a choice.
Once I found out what was going on with me, once I found out what PTSD was, I felt this burden lifted off of me because I realized I'm not crazy.
People in the community that have a mental illness or think they might have a mental illness or know of family members or friends who suffer, that if we have this conversation and we get people talking about it, then it becomes more acceptable for people to seek the help they need. Because we know that mental illness, when it goes untreated, can lead to devastating social and economic consequences.
Rock bottom. It could be anxiety, depression, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be you losing your family. You wake up one day, you have a house, next day you're out in the street in the car, maybe your wife kicked you out or your husband kicked you out and you're at the bottom.
And mental illness is so many different things. It's bipolar, it's depression, it's anorexia, it's bulimia, it's abuse.
You're a sergeant, right? We're known as the backbone of the Army. And if you're the backbone of the Army, you need to be the roughest, the toughest, the strongest. You need to be able to stare down the face of a bayonet. You need to be able to look the enemy in the grit of the teeth, and have no fear.
But if you go and Google creative people with bipolar, you will see quite a long list. So is it right to call them crazy? I don't think so.
I had it from when I was in a rehabilitation center when I was young, and it was a traumatic incident. And I have flashbacks and nightmares and sometimes dreams about that.
I was just interviewed for a book where I fit the profile of person who is depressed, but at that time, very high functioning during the day, and then go home and get in the fetal position and get up the next day and do it again.
If there's any stigma towards that, there shouldn't be, because we're nice people, just like the people out there in the community.
Because you don't want to just keep suffering in silence. You're never, ever going to really get better that way at all until you come out and say, I do have a problem, I'm going to work on it, and try everything in your power, just like I did, to get better, and thank the Lord, stayed better.
But if you can somehow put that person in a position where they stand in the affected person's shoes, perhaps that will change the way they see that mental illness.